It's 9 a.m. We will call the meeting to order. Starting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to which is one nation.
And the first order of business will be nominating and electing of our 2024 board chair.
I nominate Robert Burns.
Are there any other nominations?
I nominate Eric Johnson. Who was vice president, correct? Yep.
Are there any other nominations?
I'll second Eric's.
Are there any other nominations?
Are you declining, Bob?
Kind of an order. And so. Yeah. It had been until a couple of years ago. Yeah. The president said then, whatever.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Well, there's only one nomination, seconded.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's Commissioner Johnson.
All right. Now we'll need to nominate a vice chair. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Schultz, get him in the rotation as vice chair.
Works for me. I'll second the nomination.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? If not, all those approve, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Disapprove, say nay. So, all right. Moving on to approving the agenda. Everybody has a chance to look at the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections on the agenda?
I guess the only question I have is, I see one bid here. Do we have two bids coming in, Paul?
Moving, I just.
Oh, thank you. Very good. I move to accept the agenda as set.
Motion's been made to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made, and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed. Agenda approved. Moving on to the previous minutes from December 26th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Any additions or corrections in those minutes?
Move to accept. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, we'll move on to public comment. Is there anybody that would like to make a public comment?
We have time to talk on our issues, or should I speak?
Well, we for the bid opening, you mean, or? If you have something that you wanted to say, I guess, I don't know if that's allowed or not, to tell you the truth. Yeah, if you want to say something, that's fine.
Well, I reviewed the bids for the last 4 years. And I'm excited for the opportunity. I wanted to report to the rest of the county and the citizen here, so what the commissioners think. But I do want to bring attention to changes we made at August. So after 2 full months, our established with many key stakeholders, and we had hired a sports writer. We have a freelance writer, much smaller in scale than, but get a lot done. Our Christmas issue was 28 pages, and it was all in Houston County. And it's about 11% Houston County coverage. And so just want you to be aware of our Houston County. When people call me, they say, this isn't necessarily to, because many times they've told me that. And but we really changed the model that to journalism. I just did an investigative report on issues with Swiper for the juvenile detention center, which come out in this issue. And so I just wanted to say that this has really improved. We've seen that in our metrics, which I to remind the kids.
Okay. Thank you. Any other public comment? If not, we're given it's 9:06. We'll proceed with the appointments. Polly, you have the bids for the official newspaper, opening of the sealed bids.
So there were two submitted. I did give you a form if you want to just follow along and make 2 columns on there to make it hopefully make more sense. So we've got 2, one from the Argus and one from the Fillmore County Journal. Okay, so we'll do Caledonia Argus first. The official newspaper for 2024. Official proceedings of the county board and all notices required to be published in the county's official paper. Charge per inch is $5. Miscellaneous notices that are not required to be published in the official paper. Legal rate $9. Display rate $9. Printing of 2023 financial statements, charge per inch $5. Publication of sample ballot information, charge per inch $5. Publication of tax forfeiture information, charge per inch $5. Publication of delinquent tax list. Houston County provides the data in a typeset format with the delinquent list being published by only the successful bidder. Charge per inch $5. Yeah. Fillmore County Journal. Okay, official newspaper for 2024, official proceedings of the county board and all notices required to be published in the county's official paper, charge per inch $7. Miscellaneous notices that are not required to be published in the official paper, legal rate $7, display rate $7. Printing of 2023 financial statements, charge per inch $7. Publication of sample ballot information, charge per inch $7. Publication of tax forfeiture information, charge per inch $7. Publication of delinquent tax list. Houston County provides the data in a typeset format with the delinquent list being published by only the successful bidder. Charge per inch $7.
It was $7 for all.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Oh, sure.
So, I included a copy. I was. $4,000. So everybody received this paper. Caledonia Argus or MMA directory. So as of August 2023,
previous. What percent of those live in? No. But all of the people, 4,894, including so I did CBD. Having every city in the county, with the exception of Crescent, we just haven't reached out to that area quite yet. It's a big area for us to be on. So, Heights City Council, Polka, on the radar.
Mhm.
I just wanted you to be aware of what
The circulation numbers.
Question on Polly. Now, the first thing, the official proceedings, that's the one that's a weekly,
Mhm.
okay? So that's gonna be $5 for the Argus, $7 for Fillmore. The others are just as needed, correct? Like the forfeitures and stuff.
Correct.
Only as needed.
Yep.
But the first one, the official paper, is a weekly.
The board minutes, yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
I would like to say something about it. Thanks. That's why each week the Argus reaches over 6,000. And in the last 2 months, we've expanded coverage and increased our social media presence. I have the metrics, I have the charts. So we've increased by 37% for users on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, we want to call it 38%. So we went from 11,000 unique users up to 29,000 who are viewing our stories. December 22nd, Argus reached 42,300 people in the last 7 days. Those are metrics from Facebook that I have no control over. They just do the numbers with their algorithms. Every week we hear new subscribers and renewing subscribers come back and say they love Argus. It's easy to find the obituaries and ads relevant to Houston County. We try to provide 99% local coverage. We had our sports writer out at the pier who was sick, so we put the back page about outdoors, still relevant for Beaver Creek State Park in Caledonia. And there is Minnesota statute that says in at least half of its issues each year have no more than 75% of its printed space comprised of advertising material and paid public notices. In all of its issues each year, have 25% published more than weekly or 50% if weekly of its news columns devoted to news of local interest. There is not 50%, there's 11% in this latest issue that is relevant. So it's not even meeting the legal definition of the Minnesota statutes. Just say.
Well, we've seen the bids that have come in. What is the board's feelings on the bids?
Bob's got a question.
Well,
I'll make a statement from the perspective of the bids. The Fillmore County Journal established an office in Caledonia so that they could be the official paper. And their bid was cheaper last year. The bids are reversed now. The Argus is cheaper. The Argus was relatively small and didn't have much of a presence as far as the papers. The new format of the Argus is much improved as far as the reporting and everything that you see in the Argus. That said, I only look at what the bids are. Both are located in Houston County. But at $5 versus $7, the $5 bid is the cheaper of the two. From my perspective, that's what we look at. That's why we take the bids. If we go away from the bids and award higher the bids, we're kind of defeating the purpose of the bid. Since the Argus has improved, I'm not against having the Argus be.
I was just thinking out loud here. I don't know if we can even do this, but it's gotta be one or the other. We can't split this up.
There is an official paper, right?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. If we get that, make that our official paper, but like for the legal notices. I mean. Miscellaneous notice, I suppose that has to be. Published in the official paper, so that answers that question.
We have been publishing in both papers.
There are times, yeah, when they do go into
Different.
papers, but
Information.
Well, wait a minute, now I'm reading that wrong. It says miscellaneous notices that are not required to be published in official paper. State legal rate, so we could separate that out. Could we?
I'm not sure that on the ones that we do, we publish both. And there are some that we do, but I'm not sure we'd get that rate.
Well,
That's
no, I'm
listed,
probably
but-
not. If they're not the official paper, we'll have to pay the rate that.
Going rate.
But I'm saying, can we make the decision to? For miscellaneous notice, separate that out because they are cheaper on that part of it.
I could look up some statute information, but I guess off the top.
Are, but if someone is specifically looking at the official newspaper because they want to know the Houston County News, that would be something to consider as well.
I think continuity would be part of it, that this is the official paper, so if we're looking for something, this is
Yeah.
what we're gonna look.
No, I get
So
that.
the
I just,
miscellaneous notice would be, it's miscellaneous, doesn't happen that often, only as needed as that's.
I just posed the question
Yep.
because I was thinking about it.
Historically, that was done, when the Argus was submitting bids with Spring Road, because we were not in the same municipality. So if Fillmore County had an office outside Caledonia, we could do that. That's what we did with Spring Road for years.
Over the years, I've seen the Argus change drastically in the last few months, and the rates are here showing what we use most is the official paper, and some of these other things are printed. With that being said, they're both good papers. There's nothing against either one, but I think we have to look at where we're at and what we use the most. And I make a motion to accept the bid from the Caledonia Argus as our paper for this year.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? If not. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. All right,
Thank you for the bids.
yep, thank you for the bids. All right, now we'll move on to the consent agenda. There's two items on the consent agenda. Approve the rescission of the offer of employment for Lori as probationary 08 and for environmental service clerk, and then approve a competitive search for that position.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All right. So any discussion? I just had a question on what. I mean, is there, can you explain what happened or?
Yes, in fact, I thought I put that in the note when I submitted it there. The individual is not able to come until potentially, and I don't even have confirmation on that, until March. So that is just not workable for the county, for the department. And so since the offer had already been approved by the board, I need to come back to the board. Normally, dates are firm prior to going to the board, which we thought it was, but this individual has circumstances that appear beyond her control and not able. She is not, does not live locally, lives outside the region.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. There's no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Agenda approved. Okay, action item number one, we've already done that.
We have to adopt the resolution.
So do we need to do that?
I'll move that we do the resolution 24-01.
Adopting Caledonia Argus as the official newspaper. Correct. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Considered adopting resolution 24-02 account powers granted for the Merchants Bank. Polly. She go.
Are you on screen now, Polly, or?
We can come back to her now.
Next?
Next one's for Polly too, so we'll skip to number 4. Consider adopting resolution 2404 designating the 2024 annual appropriations. Carol? Or everybody's got the appropriations list in their emails.
Right, so it's really just reaffirming what was included in the 2024 budget that was approved at the end of at December 26th. It just gives you a list so that you know who actually is all getting them, but they've all been approved in the budget process.
And there was no changes either.
No,
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Resolution approved. Polly, are you on yet?
Yes, just got back down here.
Okay. We just go back to number 2 for considering resolution 2402 for account powers granted for Merchants Bank.
Okay,
Just a simple resolution affirming.
yes, just confirming signers. Like an
Okay.
email updated. Yep,
No move.
Second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, resolution passed. Resolution for 2403 account powers granted for ESB banking. Same thing, same deal, different bank.
correct.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Greg, second. Is there a second?
Okay. Just a
Dewey seconds, is there further discussion?
just a question. This authorizes Polly's signature. And we already authorized, is it like, who else signs?
It says, Finance Director Carol Lapham and Board Chairman.
All right. All right.
Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Action number 5, consider adoption of the Houston County Earned Sick and Safe Time Policy. HR Director Kruger.
The legislature of the state of Minnesota passed a minimum sick and safe time statute that applies to any employee who earns more than 80 hours in the calendar year, that after the first 30 hours, that they are entitled to 1 hour of paid sick and safe leave time. And this is impacts potentially summer water patrol for deputies potentially, as well as some of our drop site people. And,
So
excuse me, and drivers as well, like VSO and jail.
This is kind of a state mandate then?
It is a state mandate. It is, far less than the sick, time that we offer our regular employees, probationary and regular. It will run concurrent. We will not have this stack. We do not preload it. It will, could carry over into a subsequent year. So if you're looking at somebody who earns 80 hours, they're like at a little over 2 hours of sick and safe time that they could use for themselves. Safe time is for predatory practices against themselves or one of their family members if they're being stalked or sexual violence.
So this is just an addition. This is new legislation that's passed last year. So, but,
It's passed last session.
right, so is this gonna be just another addition to what our policy already is on that, so they can, it'll be more?
It will allow for those individuals to actually take a sick day occasionally. And Carol, we talked, do you remember how many people actually work? Some of them work considerably over.
That'd be, it's an addition for them because they didn't, because they were part-time, they don't accrue anything.
They don't accrue any benefits. So this is a minimum benefit that the legislature has passed for these temporary and part-time people.
Go ahead, Bob.
So, like we have 800 hours that they can accumulate. After 800 hours, they have to be paid for unused sick time at 55%. So is the 800 plus 48 or is the 48 part of the 800?
48 would be part of the 800.
So the sick, we aren't adding more time to what they can accumulate. It's just,
Are you referring to like on the memorandum, MOAs for?
like the LELS 60.
Oh, you're referring to that. Excuse me, I thought you were referring to
See,
the policy.
55% payment for those sick leave hours above 800.
800. But it's just 48 hours that they can accumulate separate from
No,
that.
no,
So they still can only accumulate 800 hours. 48 of it is the sick and safe.
it runs concurrent with our unions and our regular employees. It does not stack.
Well, maybe we should save that discussion here for when we do the agreements here. I guess what we're looking at right now is the earning sick and safe time policy, which is,
That's the first step here.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you brought up a good point, Bob, but that's something we need to discuss during that later. Yeah. So basically what you're saying here, this here is their sick and safe time policy that we're adopting.
Yes, that is the minimum the county can do. The county had other options to have it stack, if you would. We went with the minimum in the proposed policy.
Yes, with that being said, it's something that's come down from above. Can't change it. I move to consider the adopting of the earned sick and safe time policy. That's
There's been a motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. Is there any more further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, now we'll move on to consider doing the MOA for LALES 415.
just a comment, commissioners, the LALS language is identical for all three LALS units. So you will, what you see in one is identical to all of them. Now, the MAPE, AFSMI, and the operators unit 49 have, do not believe they need an MOA. So it was just a matter of just a preference from LALS. It doesn't change anything that we're required to do. However, they wanted it put to writing. Now, when we negotiate contracts, the MOU language would then fall into the new contract. As with the other three units, when those are negotiated, we would also update the language in their contract to reflect the statutory change. We don't always make MOUs anytime there's a statutory change because statute supersedes. So it's just a matter of preference with the unit.
So with regard to the sick and safe time, for an employer that doesn't have any sick pay or sick time accumulation, they have to allow for this up to 48 hours.
For all their employees.
Employers that do offer sick pay or sick time, like the county, 48 hours isn't an addition.
Correct.
It can be a part of it. Like you said, not step.
Those are elections. And so our sick time benefits far exceed what these statutory minimums do. However, this catches some of the statutory addition catches some of those folks that don't have any right to accumulated benefits,
Such as drop site people.
such as the drop site people.
So why would the law enforcement union want to have this MOA when the others did not?
Just they wanted the statutory language updated in their agreement, and they did not want to wait until the negotiations.
So everything that's underlined here, is that the change of language?
Correct, sir. Everything that is struck. And for clarification, they felt it required clarification. So their attorney drafted kind of a one size fits all for all three units. It doesn't change our obligation to them. It clarifies, they feel it clarifies
So like on
the statute.
11-5 here, for sick leave hours used in the ESST, the employer may require reasonable documentation as defined in the statute.
That's a notice notice section of the statute. And we have this in policy as well as in the contract already, and they just are further clarifying it.
I was just asking because it was my understanding in this new requirement that we're not allowed to ask or have notice to receive notice.
You are not allowed, we as an employer are not allowed to ask about the details of their medical situation. We certainly can ask for documentation if we feel that they are misusing this sick and safe time. And if they have over 3 days that they're requesting off, we can absolutely ask for that documentation.
Well, they have something coming up in advance, give you notice in advance. That's fine, but they are allowed to call in sick or whatever.
Mhm.
And use.
Which is pretty much, I mean, that's how our, I mean, we don't ask for documentation for 1 day off. Should we believe somebody is abusing the sick leave policy, we could start requesting that. And it's a rare situation in the county.
Okay.
Any more discussion? If not, is there a motion for approval of MOA for LES 415?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those approve, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What is opposed, say nay. MOA agreed upon. Okay, for action item number 7. MOA for LES number 237.
Same stuff, different group, it's all.
So,
And a motion to it?
I'll make the motion. Yeah, it's like-
motion,
Second.
motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Approval agreed upon. Okay, consider approval of MOA for LAS number 60.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All those, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, now we're
Commissioner,
going to, go ahead.
I was just gonna mention, I have copies, not copies, I have the originals, 2 of which have already been executed by the unit. Pending board action, so I will have those in my office when you're able to sign them.
Okay,
Thank you very much, commissioners.
probably want to stay test maybe.
Oops, am I missing something here?
It's considering reappointing Wayne Ruddigan to the Board of Adjustment for a 3-year term ending on 12/31/2026. It's just a re-up for Wayne to do serve on the Board of Adjustment.
Why don't you come up, Martin?
They're, as you may recall, they're entitled to, if they're interested in serving a third 3-year term, and that's these 2 individuals have expressed that to Director Herrick.
This is Wayne's second.
Second term.
And they're allowed up to 3.
Yeah.
So it's-
I'll make a motion to re-up Wayne running into the Board of Adjustment.
Second,
Motion's been made in second. Is there any further discussion?
Just so I understand, this is for a 3-year term. I
Correct.
had 1 3-year.
Yep.
This is the second, and will still be available for,
capable.
capable to do another 3 for
Correct.
total.
Yes.
Oh, so that
Just so
means,
I understood right.
that's Anderson.
Ken Anderson's in his line.
Okay, so,
We'll get to that.
no, I just,
This is for his second, and 3rd-year term.
Yep. I just want to understand. Thank you.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right. Welcome Wayne back to the board. Action item number 10, consider reappointing Ken Anderson to the Board of Adjustment for a 3-year term ending on 12/31/26.
Which one of the 3 is, I mean, it's, this is the
This
third
is
one.
third.
This is his last term.
Correct.
Yep.
Ken does a good job. I'll move to approve.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, welcome back, Ken Anderson. All right, now we'll go on to consider appointing and updating commissioner committee assignment list and chart. You guys got a thing in front of you here of who is all currently on committees. The first page here is the per diems. That's changed, that's not changed, it's the same as always, so.
That's this packet.
Yep. Well, this is just a little easier one to keep track of. This is the one that's currently on there, correct? Yep. All right. First one would be Community Services Standing Committee. Right now we have Burns and Severson. Is that correct? Yep. Any changes? You guys want to still serve on that?
That's the one that meets the second
Right,
Tuesday.
Yep.
Opposite of the land.
correct.
I'm fine with it, but if somebody wants to be on community services, say the word.
But yeah, I'll stay on it. If that's,
Okay. Sounds good. That'll stay the same.
Sure.
Okay, Land Use and Public Works Standing Committee, right now it's myself and Bob Schultz. I'll stay on. I'll be okay with that.
Nope.
All right. Finance Standing Committee. Right now it's Dewey and Bob Burns. You guys want to stay on or?
I'll stay on, but if maybe Carol wants me off. You may, it's,
Yeah, no stay in this.
I'll stay.
anybody else want it? Otherwise I'll stay. It's again, that's the final. Or fourth Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday of the month, yep. All right, that'll stay the same. Personnel and Negotiating Committee, this year will be a negotiating year for a new contract for all the unions.
I'm interested in getting in on that.
Right now, it's myself and Greg Myrie. You said you're interested. Greg, what about you?
Well, I'd kind of like to stay on there. I've been working with some of the unions on some of on their insurance.
Anybody else would like to be on?
I think I can be.
No, probably not.
You said so.
Well, we have. I would like to stay on it as well. Being that it's negotiating year. I've been through it before. I have a little experience in it, so. We have 3, we need to vote.
Is this a vote or is this an appointment by the chair?
I think it's a vote. I don't know. We've never had that discussion like
Usually, it's been a consensus that we all work through this.
one of those things that
Yeah,
I'm interested in it, just to see the process, what goes through and stuff, so like. One I've been looking at for a couple of years. Some fresh eyes on it or something, I don't know.
That's good.
well, I guess we need to. There's been,
Do a slip or paper or vote or whatever.
well, we could do that if you want to do a secret ballot. Well,
Public meeting, so it shouldn't be a secret.
well, we have 3 interested, we can only have 2. So. Let's first. Do a roll call vote on,
How long has each been on that? Who's on it, Friday?
Greg and I were on it.
It's
Last
for
year,
2023. Who was on it for 2022?
I believe it was Greg and I
2021?
believe it was. That's a good question. I know I've been on it since 2020, well, actually, I was on it when we did the negotiations last time, so that was, 2020.
20 or
2019.
21.
It'd be good to have someone that's been on prior negotiation.
Right,
Or even. You only got
Well, I bet. I just look at it, fresh eyes, and look at some of the things, whatever.
2020 was Jack Miller and Eric.
yep, that's probably it.
2020 and then 21 was my first year on, but I haven't been on it. 21.
I know Teresa always made the point that. The board chair should be on a personnel committee. That's an unwritten rule, so. Well, right now, I guess we could do a vote on keeping it the way it was last year with Greg and I on it. Go that route. Well, how are we gonna do that then? Because we got Dewey would, so then the next vote would have to be for,
Well, why don't we-
we'll have to do
why
it
don't we make
individually.
it simple?
Okay,
Since Dewey would like to try his hand at it, you're the experience of our motion. Dewey and Eric be the person for 2020.
motion's been made for Dewey and I to be on personnel committee. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it for, so,
Dewey seconded it. Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Do it by roll, please.
Have a roll call vote?
District one,
yes.
District two,
Yes.
District four,
I'm gonna vote no, just because I was gonna make a different motion, but that's fine.
District five,
No.
Motion carries.
Motion carried. All right. EDA Compliance Committee.
We didn't do anything this past year, did we, Eric, in that one? ADA,
Yeah, that's
that's one of that needed, isn't it?
yeah, I don't think that one we even meet, do we? ADA Committee,
Depending on court issues. It's in the-
and I'll stay on it.
Again, let's say, haven't done anything the last year or two, so.
Okay, Airport Commission. Right now it's Bob Burns and Greg Myrie.
Somebody wants to be involved with that, that's okay with me.
Anybody wanna get off or get on? Greg? It's kind of a mess out there.
I'll stay on it.
Okay,
Doesn't matter, if somebody else wants to be on.
He's done a good job.
you guys have had some experience on that. You've been working with it from the beginning on this new plan, so. As far as I'm concerned, that can stay, in my opinion.
Me too.
Canvassing board. That's just,
Needed, kind of.
yeah, as needed, right? That gets approved every time we have elections. Child mortality review team. Right now it's Dewey.
Haven't had anything in 3 years.
All right, well,
Is that because you've been on it all 3 years?
Yes, I,
So it's not a chairman.
no, it's just, needed type thing and you. Have to go look back at the description. But I'll do it, unless somebody wants to get on that case, it happens. Fortunately, that's not happened.
all right. Keep that the same. Yep. CJC Safety Committee. Burns. Bob, you okay with that?
I'm okay, we meet occasionally, it's not every. And yeah,
All right. Courthouse closure emergency.
That's usually the chairman.
That's usually the chairman, so it'll be me this time around. That'll be the one change there. Second change. CJCC Committee, Bob Schultz. Burns and Schultz. You guys want to continue?
Again, that's like CJC is.
We'll keep that the same then. Parks Committee. Right now, it's Greg and Dewey. Anybody, you guys want to continue or anybody else want to get on?
I've been on for 3 years, if anybody wants it, otherwise I'll stay.
Anybody wants to step up, they can have my spot.
Anybody else want it? Otherwise, Greg, you'd continue?
I guess.
All right, we'll keep that the same. Planning Commission, right now, it's Greg Myrie is the appointed, and I'm the backup. Greg, you want to still serve on the Planning Commission?
Are we on Board of Adjustment?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I skip one?
Yes.
Who did that? Oh, it wasn't on this one here.
It's not on this.
Well, the Board of Adjustment isn't on here because
None of us are on.
there's nobody on the county board that can be on that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, we're working on the
That's,
cheat sheet here, yeah.
Quick question, did they fill Larry's position? Wasn't he one that couldn't re-up?
that gets appointed by the Planning Commission. They do that. They make nominations and appoint somebody to serve on the Board of Adjustment.
Hopefully they find some people in and working all good for them.
Right, there's 2 openings there.
On the plane.
Yep, the applications are due Thursday or Friday, I believe.
Is Larry done on the planning commission or is he?
Larry Hafner's done and so is
Ed Hamel?
Ed Hamel. Yep. So yeah, they would have to, the new planning commission this year would have to appoint somebody from their group to serve on the Board of Adjustment.
Hopefully they get some people applied.
Yep.
Well, that recommended quite a few people. That's why I was kind of wondering where Martin was. If we had any people taking, deciding if they want the job. Otherwise, we get tired of asking more people.
Well, you can ask them any you want. I mean, I think they've had a couple from what I've heard. I don't know.
Well, I think
The
they're
the applications are done, they're still taking them, so.
But there was a question at their last meeting if Larry Hafner had to get off the planning commission because they thought he was in a hot year. That's, I don't know. That's what.
But I thought he was termed out. He was in his,
On the Board of Adjustment, but not on planning commission.
no, he's termed out on the planning commission because it's his 3rd and last term.
Okay, Martin.
So then that would automatically make him ineligible to be on the Board of Adjustment as well.
He's out 3 terms in.
Yeah.
Then,
That's the way I see it.
Yep.
But we can ask Martin.
So in order to be the Board of Adjustment.
Amelia, did you want to say something?
No, I just said you're correct. Larry's termed out.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, to be on the Board of Adjustment, you have to be a member of the Planning Commission?
Correct.
Wasn't sure.
Yep.
All
They
right.
always have somebody from the planning commission serve on the Board of Adjustment to bring knowledge to there, yeah. So we're back to Greg, you want to continue on that?
I guess I'll stay in.
Okay. I mean, I
Unless
can,
somebody else wants it. I'll stay.
I'll stay on as alternate if that's okay. So if Greg, you can't make it, let me know or whatever. Okay. Safety Committee. Bob, you're on that?
can have it because it doesn't.
Don't call me.
That's an easy one.
That's neat.
We'll keep you on there, Rob. Now, these are all the committees for AMC, Environmental Natural Resources, Transportation, Human Services, General Government, and Public Safety. We each take one of those. I'm fine continuing on Environmental Services unless someone else wants it. You guys want to switch this up, just say so. But right now it's myself on Environmental Natural Resources. Bob, you're on Transportation, and Dewey, or no, Bob Schultz, you're on Human Services. General Government is Greg. And Public Safety is Dewey.
Been on that since the beginning, unless somebody else wants it.
Do you want to trade? You want transportation?
Well, if we could.
Just so,
All right, so transportation will be mine.
Yep.
And you'll take public safety?
yes.
Okay, so there will be a switch there. Greg, Greg and Bob, are you okay with what you were on?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just those two switcheroos there. Next is Delegate Assembly. We're all in that Bear Creek Watershed Committee. Greg, you're on that. You might as well stay on that. That's in their territory district. That's okay. All right, Buck Country Multi-Housing HRA. Bob, you've been on that
Yeah. It's funny, really.
quarterly. Want to stay on that? Okay. Board of Health, Joint Board of Health, we're all on that. Community Health and Services Delegate for Shack.
Oh, above that, you got the advisory thing.
Oh, Advisory Committee, the Nurse Task Force. Right now it's Dewey.
It's the third Thursday, Tuesday quarterly or something like that. Informational mostly, see, is John on there? John. Still quarterly, isn't it, John?
It is a quarterly meeting, yes.
Anybody wants to be on it, it's, you get a lunch out of it. We have a discussion.
Well, somebody from, say, Community Services Committee
With it.
would be nice, but a good addition to someone on that too as well.
So, Robert, would you like it, or?
You want to be off?
No, it's just one less meeting. I had 18 last year.
That's fine. I can take it.
Okay,
Okay, that'll switch to Bob Burns. We will be off. Community Health Service Delegate. Jack. Right now it's Bob Schultz.
actually, I ended up going up
You were-
representing the two counties. So
Yeah.
what we're referring to or with the shack is I'm under.
So commissioners,
Yep,
the shack delegate is something that's determined at your joint board of health meeting. And you go back and forth between the two
Right.
counties. And depending on that rhythm, you're either a backup or the actual representative.
oh, so maybe Bob Schultz was the backup possibly here?
You know, I can't recall, I'd have to look back, but Dewey's right. I think it's been Mitch and Dewey. And Dewey, I can't recall if you were the delegate or the alternate. I know you went to the shack retreat and have attended shack meetings. I think Mitch has as well.
Yeah, I was the alternate because when it came to voting, if Mitch was there, he had that ballot. He wasn't, I had it, so
Okay.
I've been the alternate. As I was going to the meetings. But that was determined at the joint deal we do over at Mabel. Here come January.
Yeah, so I just mentioned that because I think if you establish somebody to be that shack representative, you're gonna have to revisit it again with that joint board.
So why don't we just leave that alone?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Would we not have our our representative from the board appointed, and he's either the representative or the alternate.
Right,
That could work, yes.
So
so we appoint Dewey.
instead of,
Bob. Is that okay, Bob?
Absolutely.
I could argue. Dewey will be the.
You know, I drive in St. Paul? One of those meetings in St. Paul?
All right, next one is EDA board, or, right now it's Dewey and I'll continue on that, if that's, anybody else want to be on that, Dewey, you want to stay on?
I've been on for 3 years, if anybody else wants it, otherwise. I want to be involved with it.
Anybody else
I
want to be on it?
missed tomorrow's meeting because of an appointment. But anybody else want it?
Greg, you like to send the EDA?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I could try it once. How many times they meet? Every month?
Once a month, the first Wednesday of the month at 8:05 a.m. in the meeting next to my office.
You up by then?
All that.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
no.
it's as needed.
yeah.
I only look at Dewey to, since he's not on personnel, if he wants to pick it.
Okay, that's good.
Dave, you want to be on it?
I guess I'll go on there.
Okay, so we do have a meeting tomorrow morning, but if you can't make it,
8:05?
All right, we'll switch Dewey around with Greg. Extension committee, right now it's Greg and I. I'll stay on that if, so unless someone else wants to be on it. Greg,
I'll stay, but if somebody else wants it, they can have it.
anybody else want to be on it? I guess that'll stay the same, then. Okay. Family Services Collaborative Governing Council, right now it's Bob.
Rarely, rarely did it.
So you want to be on that? Okay. Hiawatha Valley Mental Health, right now Bob is the main and Dewey is the alternate.
They meet regular. And you're expected to be on a committee, so I'm on facilities as well. Currently the vice chair.
You better say it then. You've been there very religiously, so I haven't had the alternate. You, so if somebody else wants to be the alternate, then
You want to stay on, Bob?
Ralston.
All right,
all right.
that'll stay the same then. Jail Operations Review Committee, that's a new one. That was Bob and Dewey.
As needed, as well,
Yeah, we'll have some stuff coming up by
Yeah.
June, when it looks.
so. I'll stay.
Bob, you?
Yep.
Okay. Lacrosse County Solid Waste Policy Board, Dewey, you've been on that?
Yep.
And Bob Schultz, the alternate?
We meet quarterly, over lacrosse, talking about issues there. Been on it for a couple of years now. Or I was alternate up until this past year, and I was on during 23, so. If anybody else wants it, otherwise it's basically talking about the solid waste program.
So you want to stay on, Dewey?
I'll stay.
All right.
Once, alternate.
Yep. Bob, you okay being alternate?
You bet.
Okay.
MCIT voting delegate, Bob Burns, you're the voting delegate, and Bob Schultz, you're the alternate.
I send you a lot of information in the mail. But you're only voting. At the
AMC conference, yeah.
If somebody wants it. When I registered up there, they said, well, is Teresa.
She was still on the list. Yeah. We got that updated, I hope.
Told them.
Okay. You wanna stay on there?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll keep that the same. Bob will be the voting delegate. One watershed, one plan. That's the Root River One Watershed, One Plan. Right now, it's myself and Greg, you're an alternate. I'll stay on. I'll stay as an alternate. Okay. Southeastern Minnesota Emergency Medical, JPC. Now it's Bob Schultz. You ever meet?
Never got a call on that one.
Okay.
I'm good to staying on, so maybe they'll call this year.
Let's call you the one. So we'll keep that the same. Southeast Regional Communications Board, JPC.
We meet quarterly, excuse me, every other month, up in Rochester. Informational, but a representative from each county talks about communication systems.
So you want to stay on?
I can stay on
Okay,
unless Bob wants to move up.
No, I'll be alternate another year.
all right. Selco. Bob, you're the main one there and I'm the alternate.
Anybody wants it, that's the Southeast Library Cooperative, meets pretty regular. So I'm the county representative on the board, I'm on the finance committee, I'm on the facilities committee. Anybody,
Well, it sounds like you should stay on. You're highly involved. I think you should stay on that. Okay, all right. That's okay, Bob. You can stay on. All right. Semcac. You're also on that, Bob.
somebody can have that if they want it, that's. Once in a while, we meet in Rushford, mostly it's in Cass.
Can you zoom that or not?
So, yeah,
You can. So anybody else want it? If not, will you continue, Bob?
okay,
Okay. Southern Minnesota Tourism. Dewey, you're on that.
As needed,
That's as
basically.
needed, that doesn't meet too long. Well, we'll keep that the same as well. Seven Rivers Alliance. I think we're all on that.
Have we ever met on that? I don't recall.
I don't.
No, the EDA is in contact with Seven Rivers Alliance. They work with us on the childcare initiative, but we've never had a meeting where we guess needed to invite everyone.
For lack of a better word, would that be a sub to the EDA then, or kind of work with? You say it works with?
Yeah, it's the Seven Rivers Alliance is kind of a regional economic development.
Like everybody's on it.
All right, Smart Trails. Right now it's Dewey. And I'm the alternate.
How often have we met? None.
Says meet 6 times a year in Rochester.
they do. I remember meeting,
This is for the bike trail and stuff.
meet at the DOT offices.
Okay. I'll have to open up my emails more of something to look for. I haven't been to one.
I can remind them that you're on it.
Oh,
For some reason you.
I don't get.
Do you want to stay on it, Dewey? Otherwise I could do it too, but
Yeah, well, let's take it. Smart Trails.
Yep.
Well, I'll take her.
all right, we'll switch that around. I'll do that. You want to be the alternate,
Yeah, I
Dewey?
can be the.
Okay, we'll just do a switch on that one. Township officers, Bob Schultz and Greg Myrie are on it now. This is for they have quarterly meetings, I believe. You guys want to stay on that?
I guess I will. Yeah, Bob, and you're saying,
All right.
Unless somebody else wants it, I'll stay.
That'll stay the
Does it
same.
email you or not?
It's called.
The hell you-
Water Planning Committee, right now I'm on that. I'll stay on it unless someone else wants to take it over. We meet quarterly or as needed, it sometimes not even then, but. That'll stay the same.
You might get busier with that with this nitrate business.
Yeah, it's basically to oversee the little budget for. Clean out ponds and push up ponds and
Hmm?
Hmm?
The deal on that.
it's with, you know, let's see here. We got Denise Becker's on it. Luann Hein Welch, Van Griffin is on it, he's expired.
Arlen Pullman's on there. I think.
And Arlen Pullman,
Mary
and these are all the
Thompson.
people, and Amelia comes once in a while, and Brian comes. We have
That's not what-
updates, and Martin comes too. So,
So is Joanne still on it and has her term been updated?
I think Joe Nyheim just got updated.
we just did hers not too long ago, I believe,
Oh, yeah, okay. So we'll go back and do that.
and I think Denise took Dan Griffin's, but
I think you're right.
Dan, his terms out, right?
well, no, he just no longer wanted to serve. Okay. Okay. Workforce development. Dewey, you're on that?
That one's gonna say. Oh. Maybe cut other months, something like that. Up in Rochester. Kind of coincides with the EDA up there, but if somebody else wants it. I'll just get the hang of it, to be honest with you. I'll take it if nobody else wants.
Sounds like a plan. Winlac. Right now, it's Dewey and Bob Schultz. You want to stay on that?
We do a pretty good job switching back and forth
Yeah.
if needed, so
You wanna take lead and I take alternate, or do you wanna stay as a?
good the way it is.
Good try, Dewey. I'll put you in speed dial. Yeah, that's. Fine. Being it affects us too more than.
That's in your district.
There,
Our area. Makes sense, I guess.
All right.
Just commentary. Counting the X's, not the A's, not well. Louis got 17. Eric's got 13. I got 17. Bob's got 8. Greg got 11.
8. We gotta
I'm
work
still
on him
learning.
over here.
Well, I think take anything from me.
And it should be noted that some of these you don't meet.
No, that's true.
And some of these are,
Lot of X's.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. You want to count X's, that's how it comes out. Well, I guess there's,
but then, to be honest, there's 2 or 3 of mine, at least 2, if not 3, are just as needed. So that's an X. Fortunately, we're not having mortality issue in the county. So, I guess I would ask that we have a updated one with all my chicken scratch. If I could.
Yeah.
And
All
if I remember right too, if things change throughout the year, we can revisit these.
yeah. All right, we'll move on.
Okay.
So you wanna, what, will um. More. Constituents. They got wind of Crow Wing County doing in the future. I don't know if you guys have been keeping the paying attention.
First blush, I'm sure we can't do any voting on this, but my first blush is they're making a big mistake up there.
Well, that's opposed of how this went down. It should be decided by the people.
Good point. Extra fries. When was that? I say, Well, 57 and
well, 1957, they did an update. Yeah. 1858 was the.
The initial thought on this is because of the representative indigenous person on the horse with a Native American on the horse. That's the way it was. But to come up with a flag that's a star and a couple of blue and white stripes. Know where the North Star stayed, but can't we have a picture of Minnesota with a star on that? That's ugly. Personally.
like a lot of things that come out of that white building in cities, they don't think it through very well. A lot of stuff, and I said, I wore that patch for years and it doesn't make sense to change.
Well, and I was keeping up with this too, and I saw what Crow Wing County did, and sure enough, I got emails after that. And asked them if we would consider something. So that's why I'm bringing it forward. It's something that we think you guys have a consensus on, you wanna move forward of and doing a resolution. Not that it's probably gonna change anything, but
Show support.
I would support Crow.
well, we can bring that forward at next week's meeting for consideration. That's fine with everybody else.
Yep.
Also, being that it's a negotiating year. We need to get started with that. See, Tess isn't here, but we need to get started with. Meeting with the unions, and I'm sure it's gonna take all year to come to an agreement, so we need to get the ball rolling on that. Also, last year, we did this for the first time in a long time, but we had department head reviews. I think that's something we should do again. If you guys all feel the same way about that. I kind of would like to. do it before the year end. I know, because that's when we approve COLAs and raises and whatnot. But I suppose we can carry it over from the last review to this next year end too, so.
You wanna do it right away now? Early this year.
Well, we could do it later in the year. What's that, Carol?
Start early.
We have,
Well, that was gonna be my suggestion, if we could do it towards the end of the year. Well, it's gonna take some time because you do a self-evaluation and all that, so maybe we should shoot for July. Do a. I can direct HR to do that.
I was thinking of making it start as early as June, because just get the ball rolling, because we're not gonna have. We're not gonna have them all here the same day. We're gonna
Well, we
do it-
did-
Do it over a couple of meetings.
I think we did it over a couple of meetings last time. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's fine, we can start in June.
Get the ball rolling, and we can have that discussion in personnel.
Had a couple questions on Lynn's. I don't know, billing from last month. I didn't catch it last month. Wanted to bring it up, but there's a bill for Brownsville Pump and Well for $6,222. I was. What is the story on that, and what's that bill for? I've never seen that bill been.
Tim Sears does the Wildcat down there. He opens the water up in the spring and he shuts it all down and puts all antifreeze and everything. So it's done for the winter and no problems. He's been doing that for the last. It's 2018, I think. I mean, I thought the county did it all, but apparently not.
The highway department.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what I was under the impression. The highway department was doing that, but evidently they have the Brownsville Pump and Well have been doing.
And he's been fixing the toilets too. He called me the other day. He said, I don't make bills out too often. He's about half or 3/4 way retired. So I mean, he just goes down there. He was a friend of Jake's and they had this lined up since I think, I don't know, 2018, maybe a little before. I don't have the exact numbers, the dates.
But it's one of the bill, I think here Brian can explain it better coming on.
Yeah,
Brian?
so this bill, he's actually been doing it for, I believe, 6 years. The county does everything for startup and shut down at Wildcat except for the water, because the water needs to be tested when it gets started up and put chloride into the water system, and then end of the season needs to be flushed out, or it needs to be blown out, and we don't have the pump to with enough pressure to get everything blown out properly. And then we've had some issues when we tried doing it ourselves too, with some couple toilets cracking in the past. So Sears has done it for us. This bill is not just for this last year. He got contacted as far as providing an invoice, and I found out he actually has not submitted an invoice for, I believe, 6 years. So we had some discussion with Carol and others as far as, do we pay him for the work he's done in the past. I believe it's a little over $1,000 per year is what it amounted to. So, he's done a good job. He does it pretty efficiently, cost effectively. So that's why that bill is so high this year, and you haven't seen it in the past.
Well, that's something that should be maintained every year, gotten into, I mean, Parks Committee could look into making sure that gets taken care of every year as far as the billing.
Yeah, now that we're aware of it, we'll be on top of it. So some of it with the park is that the highway department does some stuff, auditor's office does other stuff, and so the bills don't always get submitted to one department or the other. They go to both departments. So in this case, I think each department was thinking that the other one was seeing those bills and they just weren't coming through. But we're aware of it now, so in future years, it'll be, you know, roughly that same cost, divided by 6.
Okay,
Pretty much $1,000 a year.
1,037 the way it looks. All right. There's another bill that came across too last month. For Everett Law, Everett and Vanderweel, it was $4,809. That was for a MGDPA request. Is that a data request, Carol?
Yes.
I always thought that our county attorney handled data requests. Just curious what. It's a lot of money, $4,800, but.
It's the firm that reviewed the complaint. 2022. But then there were additional. So I believe. Yeah. We get those requests. I can send you each of the itemized billing.
Okay, that's fine.
That'll work.
Let's see if I got anything else. I guess I don't have anything else right now at this time. Greg, you wanna do a update? Got anything?
Well, I got a couple things, but I think we need to go into closed doors for them, and I don't know when you wanna do that. So whenever you decide that we need to do that. I would be, can we do it today after the meeting, or does it have to be action item, or does it have to be publicized, or how do we go at this?
You have to publicize.
We gotta have to have it on the agenda. If we wanna do a closed session for whatever reason, that you gotta have a specific reason, but. I assume it's about this, or
Yep. We got 2 issues there that were brought to me last Friday, so I couldn't get them on the action item at all till now. So I just wanted to find out the board's feelings on how you wanna handle.
I think we should go list it as closed session next week.
Get to find out. Put that down, Allison.
So I need a statute for closed session.
we'll get that to you.
Okay.
Anything else, Greg?
No, I guess that's about all I got for right now, till we do that stuff. So, otherwise, it's been pretty quiet.
Bob?
So. We'll be talking about it tonight at Polka's city council meeting. In the Houston County passed a resolution 20-13 that had to do with Highway 16 supporting the city of Polka. Because MnDOT wanting to reduce the speed limit or increase the speed limit all the way to the intersection of Highway 1644 right by Tri-State Outlet to 60 miles an hour. So Houston County passed a resolution, it's resolution 20-13, which has a copy of in Polka. In addition, that was a resolution in support of the resolution that the city of Polka passed, objecting of that. You may recall there's been a fatality accident that happened there. A lot of walking trails were put in along the highway when they redid that area. Long story short, the city was notified on Friday by Michael, and I'll spell his last name Schweyen. Then he has the initials PE after that. And he's the District 6 traffic engineer out of Rochester for the state. So basically, he was telling the city that starting this next 2-week period, they're going to be implementing that increase and posting the signs. The city stance is still the same, and I'm assuming tonight they'll reaffirm that. But I kind of wanted to bring that to the board's attention because I just don't think that that's a good deal for our county. I mean, we pointed out to them from west of Polka once you get past Valley High, you have a totally different terrain where they've increased state, highway speed limits to 60, but I just don't think that they're looking into it. And I had the opportunity to talk to him on Friday, and I asked him, have you been in that area? And he hasn't. They're sitting strictly looking off of maps, and I just think it's going to be a bad thing that we need to be aware of at the county level.
It'll be 60 all the way to the stop.
It'll be 60 miles an hour right past the cemeteries, the 4th Street, 7th Street, the 7th Rivers, the car lot, the entrance to the apartments. It'll be 60 miles an hour right to that T intersection.
Going past your
highway shop, it'll be 60 miles an hour. And if I challenged him to set his cruise control at 60 miles an hour and to try and negotiate those corners.
He couldn't answer. Well,
No,
he's never been there.
He's never been there. It fell on deaf ears. One of the things that they did do, because I had kind of worked with the city and working with him over this last 3 years, they did cut in rumble strips. They never had rumble strips before. And we actually had a fight to get the rumble strips. And which I do with my occupation, I sit in that area and there's constantly cars hitting that rumble strip. Well, why would that be? They're going too fast through them colors.
Well, them rumble strips do approach into the lane a little bit. Don't they?
They're white into the white fog line.
They're not inside a little bit.
Yeah, they're actually inside of the area that, and when they improved Highway 16 through there 7-8 years ago, whatever it was, they actually widened them shoulders for walking paths.
Right.
So now they're going to increase the speed limit to 60 miles an hour in an area that has walking paths.
Currently, it's 55.
And currently it's 55, which is too fast.
Too fast.
We were trying to get them at least do it to 45, just something to get people's attention more.
Well, it goes back to the same, what we've always heard from Brian, that the state sets the speed limits and the local authority has very little to say
Correct.
about that. But I remember doing that resolution, I believe. So
it was just prior to my time and I heard about it, but I totally agree that actually about the place of our drop site there, just west of Holka, should be about the beginning of the 45.
Where it should start to reduce speed. Correct.
And if not further, because you got 2 entrances and one cemetery and then the development there. So
at their meeting tonight, it's going to get brought up and probably going to be asking for more public and other support to try and, I don't know, I'm afraid it'll fall on more deaf ears, but that's what's
Mr. Bryant, yes, you should come off, popping up here.
Yeah, if I can just comment on that. So I have not seen that letter, Bob. If you can get a copy of that to me along with whatever happens at the city tonight. I have a meeting tomorrow at noon that the Mike Schwain's assistant will be at. So I can talk to him one more time about this issue. I know his assistant is fully aware of what the county wants, what Holka wants, what our Towards Zero Death Fatal Review Committee, what our discussions and what we would like to see. But I can push this one more time on my end too to see if we can get them to at least from the cemetery to the stop sign, at least that stretch that has the most concerns. Maybe keep that from raising that one little half-mile section.
I can email you a packet this afternoon when I get to my office. It's already completed. So.
That'd be great. Thank you.
So, you got anything else, Bob?
Nope, that's about all.
As long as we have you on here, Brian, you sent out an email to Bob Schultz and I about Senator Klobuchar wanting to visit us.
Yes, so Senator Klobuchar's office assistant or person ahead of her scheduling called me on Thursday afternoon, said he was going to get back to me today with some more details, but he's looking, or Senator Klobuchar is looking to be in the county on Friday at 12:30 p.m. They initially wanted to meet out at the airport to look at the airport taxi lane project and to kind of discuss that project. Was speaking with him, kind of decided that the airport's probably not the best location. There's not a good place to meet out there that's inside with cold weather in the winter months. So instead of meeting out there, we're gonna probably meet either at the highway shop or maybe in the EOC. They asked if we can have one or two county commissioners there. I will find out more information as far as who else they would like to have present at that meeting. And the discussion will be, federal funding on the transportation system, I believe is what the discussion is. Maybe it's gonna involve other aspects as well. So we're gonna talk about the airport taxi lane project and that airport funding for that, along with our County Highway 16 project from Spring Grove down to the Iowa state line that was done this last summer. They're kind of looking at those projects with federal funding and how we utilized it, so how we can get more stuff in the future coming this way.
So we use that federal funding to make it wider, is that right?
So we used on 16, we used two different federal funding sources. One was to resurface it, and then we had a second funding source also from the feds to safety money to make it wider. So we had two different funding sources there. So we had 1.3 million, just over $1.3 million on County 16, and then the airport project was a little over 200,000 worth of FAA funding.
So that FAA funding, that was the funding that we got pulled. We didn't get a full funding on that, or was that a state deal?
That was 90% FAA, 5% state, 5% local.
Purchase the land?
Purchase of the land, that I believe was 90%, but there was some back payment that they came back. They thought that they overpaid us, so that reduced that.
Is that
land.
what I'm asking? That was federal aviation?
There was, yes.
So it'd be a good time to bring that up with the senator?
We definitely could.
Mhm.
The road from Exon to New Albany, how wide are you gonna make that one? You gonna do that one 10 feet too? You're gonna have to down there with all that big equipment.
Yeah, so Eitzen to New Albany, so currently I believe it's 12-foot lanes on that. We've talked about trying to pave it 13-foot or even 14-foot lanes. We don't want to put the pavement right out to the very edge of where that slope is and ultimately have that pavement bust away or push away with that heavy farm equipment driving on the outside edge. We're gonna see what we can get done out there when we go to replace the culverts and reshape the shoulders and the forest slopes. Definitely, if we can get another 2 feet out of it, we will. I just don't know that we're gonna be able to.
Is that a project in conjunction with Iowa?
Yes. Yep, I've spoke with Iowa briefly on it. They are going to be putting plans together and pave their section at the same time. So we have not talked about who's going to be doing what aspects. If we have one inspector inspect the entire project, but we are talking about bidding both the Iowa and the county phases out together.
Well, if those are the two subjects, I don't know. Is there, does the airport committee wanna meet with her on that, or, right? You invited the land use committee to.
Yeah. Yeah, so I invited you to. It really doesn't matter to me which one or two out of you five attend, but it'd be nice to have, presence from the county board.
What's the date?
It'll be this Friday at 12:30 here in Caledonia.
Not in town.
I'm available.
It's election year for everyone, I think. It must be, I don't know if it's hers or not.
I can't make it that day. That's Friday at 12:30.
That's the one. That you think
Yes.
it should be.
All right,
You wanna go, it doesn't matter. Why can't we have three?
No, you can't have
No,
three.
if you got two others, I'm fine now. If you miss this,
You can't have a quorum,
Right.
so you need to pick two.
There's two.
everyone-
Well, I'll go if Bob wants to go with that, is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, you have one from airport and one from land use, I guess.
Yep, that's fine. All right,
Yeah, no, I'm good. Skip it.
okay.
Just have to let us know, if it's gonna be at the highway shop or at the UOC.
Yep, so after I talk to them, I'll find out how many people, we should be expecting. That'll determine, space and where we meet. So I'll get you filled in as soon as I know more.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
What?
Well,
I don't know about that. Okay. Bob Burns.
I'm done. Thank you.
only a couple things. Of course, I didn't have any meetings since our last meeting because of holidays and what have you. We've got the 3 vehicles that Health and Human Services has had. 3 Jeeps are coming due from Enterprise sometime in 2024. Sleepy Hollow can match the state bid prices. So when those Jeeps come due, and this is just a question for food for thought. Are we looking to continue with a rotational type thing? So we would buy one new one and a couple of used ones, newer and then older used ones, to get into a rotation. So say every 3 years we replace one, rather than buy 3 new vehicles to replace the Jeep. Because then they're all in the same rotation. So it's just food for thought as far as, what you think we ought to do.
I guess you'd have to look at what are they're replacing and what are their uses,
I
The
like
ones
the
that we're
stag-
talking about are
those little Jeeps.
that are used by the assessor's office and general use. They're just fleet vehicles, right? So I don't think we want to get Jeep, but we could go up to like an Equinox size.
Right.
Well, anything could be cheaper on fuel than.
Well, these are those little compasses.
And I'm not impressed, because when I go to these meetings in Rochester and Gadsden, I check the mileage and they're in the mid-20s.
No different than that.
My Equinox with the 6-cylinder, with the 4-cylinder, it's 35. So same engine, little bigger vehicle, still gets way better gas mileage.
But we could buy good used vehicles to replace those, is that what?
That's my question. When they go back to Enterprise.
Yeah.
We don't do another lease. All 3 of them are gonna be gone. We could buy 3 new ones or buy 1 new one, fairly new one and a little older one so that we're into a rotation.
I like the staggered rotation idea.
Yeah, that's fine.
Look at
And if Sleepy Hollow can match the state bid, I'm all for that too.
I'm also gonna check with Sheriff's Department as far as the squad replacements, if we have a connection.
Be a little bit different spec, but yeah, they can.
It's a different spec, but if they can get those kind of vehicles. Second thing I gotta report, and like I said, food for thought is something we can talk about in the future. I'm gonna be on vacation the first 2 Tuesdays in February. So I will miss the meeting on the 6th and the 13th. I'll be far enough away that I can't do it by Zoom. I can try, but I don't. Just so advance notice.
Yep, that's fine.
And as far as negotiations, the Selco libraries are gonna be starting negotiations for the next 3-year package on them too.
That starts this year.
That's
We're in our last year for them too, 24. And that ARPA money will go away, correct?
That program will be over.
Okay. So we'll go back to regular,
Just a regular appropriation with when I go and negotiate for a percentage.
I think we should stick with that.
Yeah. No more.
No more ARPA, so.
Sense.
And they know that was a
One-time deal.
Right.
That's all I have.
I just had one thing extra here too, just. Carol's. Brought this to my attention as well as Allison sent an email about we need to. So beginning in 24, we like to do the wording for a former method of compliance on bids. Is that right?
So I think when we go over bids at future meetings, we're gonna,
Have to
Have to.
announce them.
well, and yes, and we're gonna write in the minutes what the amount of each bidder was.
Right.
Right.
So that's something that we're gonna have to go back to and make sure that gets discussed and talked about and all that stuff, so it gets in the minutes. All right. That's all I had. Back to Dewey.
One thing coming up here, throughout the month of January, La Crescent is. Got some new information. I want to revisit the what's going on West Channel. So the request has come through and they've made application to environmental services. For meetings and so on. And it's coming up throughout the month. January, February.
They want us to vote on it again.
Yes, revisit it.
Don't we have to wait a year to revisit? Something that was denied before? I know in the plan commission, that's what happens is when. An application is denied, they have to wait a year to come back.
That's a little bit different than ordinances.
But there was a board action to deny it. Isn't there supposed to be a amount of time that you can bring something back?
Well, in the zoning, it's 1 year. I don't know if that includes ordinances or not.
We'll see what, I don't know, it was asked and I'm just providing.
I know
information.
that. I'm just asking the question.
On,
There's a waiting period or,
we'll check the waiting period. I guess that's the question is what you're really doing.
Yep.
We'll check that out.
Yep.
But they have new information and they had some statistics that would support the issue.
Okay.
I asked to go through it. They wanted to get it done in December. I just can't do it in December. Okay, that's all I have.
that's all you got?
So. The no wake zone buoys that are in Lawrence. Not up to Lawrence Lake. That's not. Enforceable, no wake zone. Somebody, this would be, they can fly up through there. There's nothing really anybody can say about it.
Other than your statute about damaging property, et cetera, for courtesy. They can put that on themselves.
They do.
Right, no, I'm saying it's right. They put them down at Bullhead Bay. Down south of Wildcat, further the next full road, what else?
People typically,
Typically they abide by.
I know they do, but.
Oh, yeah. But like the county doesn't, is responsible. You're well concerned about other people.
I think that's talked about when we voted against it. the first time.
That was a concern of the cost of the buoys of putting them in and out.
What happened when the six band down the river as far as. Mark Lady, they,
But the deal on West Channel, it's more public and it's open. We're in Bullhead Bay and up there by the by Lawrence Lake, they're narrower and it looks private. We're over there on West Channel. It's only 300 feet wide, 100 foot out. We can get into a lot of discussion on it, but there's people going through there to avoid lacrosse cities, no wake zone. There's a no wake zone, approximately 1,000 feet south of the issue that we have. And, why we can't have it in our area for continuity until you get to the main channel. As far as the expense, there's discussion that they're willing to look at. So,
It's good information coming.
excuse me,
But they'll have some good information coming then.
they have better information coming now and knowing what they need to do. Like I say, it's one of those deals that's been a hot topic for years. It's for the safety of our people that live down there. Probably the highest tax people per square foot in the county. They like to enjoy sitting on their docks. So, anyway, it's forthcoming. It's being looked at to reevaluate. Okay. And then Carol, I got the nice new packet. Do we get one for January by chance?
Might be on the back.
On the back of what?
On the back of that
You know, I
packet.
would see attached to,
Oh, somebody else's?
Oh, yeah, I got the,
Oh,
yeah, I'll just, if not, then I got my December one. Put it up here.
I got my day.
Everybody got their,
January through the summer.
you got your January through? I'll come see you.
Is there anything else that needs to come before the board? Is there any closing comment? Closing public comment? If not, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Second? Is there a second? Any further discussion? If not, I'll say, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign.